I am Tara Jo Young, and I am here excited to be a part of your health and wellness journey. It's very exciting to be here with you, and I recognize you, and I'm just thrilled that you've made the choice rather, to be here today and just do everything that you can to stand in your power and rise above and come into your best self. So with that said, we're going to start by warming up the spine, warming up the hips. So if you want to find a cross-legged position, go ahead and do that. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you have several options. You can just chill like right here, sitting up nice and tall. We'll talk about that, how we get that spine nice and tall. Or you can wrap one leg back around so the foot's coming back around and one foot's coming forward into your posture. Otherwise, finding yourself here in this easy seated position, sitting up nice and tall. So I always advise people to think about their sits bones, or their hip bones rather. So think about weighting them down, like from here down is lead and the rest of the body is helium. So instantly you start to create this beautiful long spine, and we want to maintain that throughout the practice. If you're thinking of nothing else, think about the integrity of the spine, the integrity of the posture by getting nice and tall, rooting through the hip bones and rising up from belly button upwards. So like somebody had a string on the head and pulling you skyward, and you feel into that almost immediately. You want to rock side to side, maybe see how you feel comfortably. Otherwise, we're going to think about hinging from the hips. So if you want to put your hands there, I always love to just kind of find the anatomical part of me that's sort of guiding the posture. I'm going to put my hands on my hip, and this is where I want to kind of fold from, bringing my chest forward to the floor. If it feels comfortable, just go ahead and place your hands here. If you feel like you want to take extension in the arm, go ahead and walk your hands forward, and then bow your head. It's a really beautiful way to completely stretch into the spine, including the cervical, should you tuck your chin. So if you want to tuck your chin, that feels incredibly good. Hold it here. Start to breathe deeply into the belly, and then we're going to walk it to the right side. So inhale, try to get a little bit longer through the spine. Exhale, fold it forward. Maybe again, tucking that chin. Just seeing the energy shift through the body. Walk it back through center line. Exhale, go ahead to the other side. Now you're going to start to feel immediately any asymmetries that are happening inside of the body. The side of mine happens to be a little bit tighter. My hip is calling out to me. In that instance, when that starts to happen, I want you to think about drawing the breath into that space and really trying to relax and release that. The body knows exactly what it needs to do to heal itself. So we're going to try to work with that throughout the practice. What do I need to let go of? What do I need to draw in? So with the inhale, I always like to think about inviting new and exciting experiences and energies in. Go ahead and come back through center, bow it forward. Start to sit back up, rising, unfolding the spine, rolling from the base, mid-spine, and then all the way up. Once you come up, go ahead and take a couple shoulder shrugs, because that instantly feels so much better and really starts to open up this space as well. Go ahead and start to roll the shoulders forward just for a little change. And inhale, raise those arms up to the sky. We're going to exhale, release the right hand down to the floor. Exhale, go ahead and fold forward, starting to stretch out the obliques, the side body, and also keeping the spine nice and long like we talked about. Hips are still really heavy. Crown of the head is reaching in the opposite direction. So there's this really beautiful pull here that helps me root and helps me rise. We're going to exhale it out and come back into a nice warm-up position here. Cat-cow, so coming to all fours with the knees under the hips. And my wrists are going to be settled right underneath my shoulders. So inhale takes you to cat. And I want you to just think like somebody has, again, back to that thread, that imaginary thread, raising, pulling up mid-spine and round out as the hips start to drop almost to the floor. Shoulders come like there's a magnet in between the hips and the shoulders. Exhale it out. We're going to sweep into cow, the opposite direction. So my heart space, my chest starts to open up. My hips are released to the sky. My shoulders are rolling back. My shoulder blades are pressed together and downward. So if you want to soften through the elbows, then that feels good, go ahead and do that. And we're just going to go through a couple rounds with the breath. So moving with the breath really helps you settle into the parasympathetic nervous system. All that means is we're coming out of fight and flight, and we're coming back to our truer selves. our most natural selves, back to peace and calm almost instantly. So keep that movement flowing. Inhale, rise up, cat, maybe trying to find a little more height there, a little more length, and exhale it out. Inhale, round it out, and exhale, fold it forward. One more stretch before we start to come into our standing postures. I want you to think about drawing that hip up to the shoulder. This is a beautiful movement in that we're actually creating like this crunching movement. You know, when we're working out, we're crunching obliques side to side. When here, it's the same thing. But I want you to also think about the length that's being created, in this case, the left side, when we're crunching through the right. So the opposite side gets lengthened,